Rick, thanks so much. And we talked about the numbers for Travis Trice. Denzel Valentine was fantastic as well in this game. Valentine, 15.7 rebounds, 6 assists. So 2 players in the regional final or later with 15, 5, and 5 or better. You see, hasn't been done very much in the Big Ten. And the guys who have done it, some impressive names. Magic Johnson on there, Scooty Pennant, Michael Redd, Greg Kelser, Quinn Buckner. That's some good company to be in. And Jimmy, this was a game, I mean, it was clearly a tale of 2 halves. First half, Michigan State didn't play well at all. The second half, they clamped down. They got the game into overtime. What won it for them in the OT?
Dave, it could have went either way in overtime because Marvin Clark Jr. goes to the free throw line, opportunity to really sink a couple free throws and win the game right there. So now coming out of that, you can go one of 2 ways. Either you hang your head or you come out and you fight. And I thought the big 3 by Bryn Forbes right out of the beginning of overtime set the table for Michigan State, that we are going to win this game. And then defensively, you know, Brandon Dawson may not have been around a lot from a point perspective, but 2 huge plays, deflection, a block shot, but also the strips inside defensively negated some opportunities that basically were layups for Louisville. So in overtime, some guys stepped up in different ways. Bryn Forbes won with the 3, but I thought Brandon Dawson defensively done some really good things to secure that victory for Michigan State.
You know, I agree with you, and I think that the Michigan State Spartans are fans of the pugilistic science. That's boxing for those that don't understand. And they're young, but they have to understand it because they hit Louisville in the body early, and all of a sudden they got a knockout punch. I've never seen a team take Montrezl Harrell out of the game the way Michigan State did. He had 12 points in the first half. He was rolling, hitting jumpers, got a dunk his first shot. And then in the second half, he's one of the most emotionally guys that you see on the floor. He had no emotion. He wasn't talking stuff. He wasn't running the floor. He didn't get the offensive putbacks and dunks. Michigan State hit him in the body early at the end of the game. He was spent. Just an outstanding job shutting down the top power forward in the game. They just took him out of the game. It was an unbelievable effort on the defensive end.
I'll tell you what, I mentioned this was an 8-point lead at the half. I mean, think about this. Louisville had won 94 consecutive games that they had led by 6 or more at the half. So to overcome that in the way Michigan State did, and really to change the whole tenor of this game. I mean, the 40 points they gave up in the first half, tied for the most Michigan State had allowed all year and a half. The change was dramatic, Jimmy.
Well, it was a change because it was individual change. Guys really stepped up and said, individually, I'm going to lock in on my guy. I'm not going to let my guy beat me and then break down the defense. And when you do that as a defensive team, now you cover all your areas. You're not giving up easy layups. You're not giving up offensive rebounds. More importantly, you're not allowing Louisville, who thrives off of getting out and running, to do that. So in the second half, Steve, I thought the attention to detail, you talked about taking out Montrezl. I mean, they did everything. It was, one, they didn't allow the pass to get inside cleanly. And second, they kind of knocked him off his spot where now he had to take 2, 3, 4 dribbles to get into his move. And when you do that, now the help defense is there, really negated what he was able really to do.
Yeah, it was just an amazing physical effort. And one of our colleagues here at BTN said that Michigan State has a little ADD. It's like in the first half, Jimmy, they don't seem to put it all together. And then at halftime, they need a tongue lashing. In the second half, we've seen it. Yeah. They've come out and played great basketball in the second half.
Incredibly focused. You have to give a lot of credit to the guys on the floor, and I think you have to give some credit to the guy on the bench.
No doubt.
The 7th Final Four now for Tom Izzo. That ties him with Roy Williams and the guy he beat today, Rick Pitino, for the second most among active coaches, behind only a fellow we'll talk about in a little bit.